After it has an overnight dry, we remove the clamps and put them to the side. And the next step that we're going to do is mark the base to fit here. So we're going to get a piece of MDF that's been provided, and we're going to seat our box into the MDF and make sure it's fitting nicely on all corners, and then we're going to trace the excess down here. After we have traced the excess, we're going to cut off that excess and we're going to glue it to the base of our box. To cut off the base that we already marked, we're going to use a bench hook. We're going to secure the bench hook to the bench, and we're going to place our MDF piece there, and we're going to use the handsaw to cut off that excess. So as previously instructed, we're going to just mark a groove, making sure that we have a nice guide there, and because this is such a thin material, it's going to cut really easily, and we're just going to cut it off. Once we have cut it off, we're going to glue it to the base. To glue the base, we need obviously our box. We're going to flip it over so this cut is at the bottom and all the sides are nice and evenly flush with each other. Before we glue the base, we're going to give a light sanding to the bottom bits. So we are making sure that all the joints are nice and even. We're going to use a sanding block, and we're going to cover the sanding block with a piece of 120 or 80 grit sanding paper. To make easier the process of sanding, it's a good procedure or good practice to put a anti-slip mat under your work. That way it doesn't slip and it keeps it nice and steady while you are sanding. Now that all sides and joints are evenly sanded, we're going to proceed with the gluing part. So we're going to take the wood glue and do a nice line all throughout. And then with our finger, we're going to spread the glue nice and evenly on all the top surface. Try to avoid spreading it and it running down the sides of the box, because then it will be a lot of cleaning that you're going to have to do. So the less messy it is, the better outcome is going to be in terms of quality and the aesthetic and details that you give to your box. And then with the excess, we're gonna go all around the edges of the base, and we're going to nicely and evenly just apply glue to it. We can take some of the glue that is overflowing on the box and put it here, but it's very important that every surface is nicely covered and uniformly covered. That gives a better contact in between the surfaces, and it provides a better adhesion to both materials. So after we have applied the glue on both areas, we make sure that we spread it evenly, and you will notice that I applied to the edge and didn't go inward too much because we don't want to make it too dirty. And then I'm going to put it on top carefully and then try to align it as best as I can, making sure it fits nicely on all edges. Okay, and so once this box is nicely fitted, we're going to apply some nails on it. After we have applied the glue and fitted the lid on, we're going to use a hammer and a bullet head pin to hammer and join these two together. So it's going to be, we need to be closer to the edge. So that is going to make it so we don't come in and then that fits it in nicely. After that one, we're gonna use the next one and nail it in the corner. About there. And then we're gonna do the next one. After we have put the nails and hammered them in, they're going to be flush with the box, but we don't want that. We want to have them sitting in a little bit after, so we can put some pottery mix there and so they're not visible or sticking out. So we're going to put the center punch on top and then gently give 2 taps. 1, 2. And then that sinks it in just a little bit in there, and we're going to proceed and do the same process with the rest. All right, now I have finished. I'm going to proceed to clean the box of all the excess glue that I have all around, on the outside with my wet rag and also inside. So it is nice and clean. All right, so we're just gonna let it dry, and then the next part will be to cut the top.